Om Hrim Muthukrishna Hamsaya Vitmahe Paramahamsaya Dhimahi Danno Hamsa Prachodayat. Namaskaram to all. It's nice to be with you all again. Today's topic is rather unusual, but very pertinent and important at this time of the history. About a month ago, a friend of mine asked me how she could help the bereaved family of a friend who had expired with these recent illnesses. So I said, that's not a problem. Just all they need is a patient listening. Just go sit with them, hold their hands, and listen to what they want to say. Let them vent out all their tension, anxieties, sorrow, everything. Time will slowly heal them. All the sorrow will vanish as the time flies. She said, okay, but how can I help my friend who has died? I said, that's a different ball game. If you want to help a departed soul, the first thing is the funeral rites and the prayers has to be done in accordance with his religion or her religion, the person who departed. That is mandatory. Second, if you want to help, you can get the family to donate money in his name to the needy. At the moment, there are a lot of people who are in need, and so you can go and help them. The important thing about donation of money in his name is that the people who are the recipients should not know who is donating. It's just to be an unknown person who is on his behalf is being done. Or the person who is recipient should not be a family friend or known person to the people who are donating. That's very important. I said there's one more thing, much more profound and much more beneficial to the departed soul, and that is release the cow from slaughter. You can go to the abattoir and release a few cows and take them to a person who will look after them till they die, all their life, without reselling them or killing them. This is very, very helpful to the soul of the person who has died. He said, how do you know all this? How do you know it helps? I said, well, my master's satsang, we hear all these things, but I'll give you a scientific basis. There is an incident which I can recall. I'll relate it to you. About 20 years ago, around 2002-3, a lady was admitted to the Lanka hospital, to the Apollo hospital at that time. She was brought unconscious and admitted under a neurologist, and he did a CT scan and found a massive intracerebral hemorrhage. So she was put on a ventilator, and they're waiting, hoping that she would recover. 3 weeks had passed, and she had made no progress. So the doctor now did a brain death test and confirmed that the brain was dead and it's not going to recover, and recommended the ventilator be switched off. They wanted a second opinion. And here comes my friend, Dr. Deb. He's a wonderful neurologist. He's a good human being. And he had come from Hyderabad Apollo to join our team at the Colombo Apollo. He was such a wonderful man that he used to wake his colleagues up in the morning, 4:35, get them to meditate, then go for a jog, and all this before they start their morning clinical work. Now, he had a few other tricks up his sleeves. I'll come to that in a moment. Now, when they wanted a second opinion, Dr. Deb was asked to give the opinion. He came and examined, did the same investigation, and confirmed that she was brain dead and recommended the ventilator be switched off. By this time, the 2-3 weeks preceding, the young lady, who was 30 years old, mother of 2, her brothers and sisters had arrived from abroad. So one of the brothers asked Dr. Deb, is the soul inside the body or outside the body? Dr. Deb now replied, we doctors don't know such things, we don't talk about these things. And he walked away, took a few steps, then he halted for a moment and turned round and said, maybe I can help you. And he went to the phone and rang another patient's office, who was a young girl of 20, and he asked her to come over, and she said she'll be there by 9 o'clock the following morning. Now I'll relate that girl's story, the 20-year-old girl whom he had asked to come the following day. This was a girl who from childhood had abdominal pain and a scar, and had been to all the specialists in that field in Sri Lanka. They did all the scans and could not find the cause of the pain, but the severe pain continued all the time. At this time, she was brought to Dr. Deb by a family friend, and Dr. Deb examined, and he drew a blank too. He couldn't find the reason. But he had another trick up his sleeve, and that is he used to hypnotize his patients and regress their memory to a childhood, looking for childhood trauma, which they will be remembering in the hypnotic trance. And so he arranged for the hypnotic trance session. He has a room in his clinic, which is darkened, air-conditioned, continuous video monitoring, with a nurse beside him. I had the privilege of sitting with him on one occasion. Now, this girl was brought in and hypnotized, and she, instead of going into childhood to utter surprise of Dr. Deb, she went into previous birth. Now, this has never happened in Dr. Deb's career so far. So the moment she went into the previous birth, she remembered that she was a young boy in Kandy, about 20 years old, who had an argument with another boy of the same age and was stabbed in the stomach and killed. And he gave his name, his address, his parents' name, which were all verified by Dr. Deb later on. Now this girl remembered the incident of being stabbed and killed, and she was brought up to the hypnotic trance. The moment she woke up, she realized that the pain had vanished. Now this is a well-known phenomenon where regression therapy, under the hypnotic trance, when they remember the incident in the previous lives, the problem vanishes. If anybody likes to find out more about it, you can read the book by Professor Brian Weiss. He is a psychiatrist from Miami and one time president of the American Academy of Psychiatrists. And the name of the book is Many Lives, Many Masters. It's a wonderful book. I'll recommend it to everybody. So there he talks about his patient. He had a similar experience of his patient going into previous birth history. And she had so many like that. And they remembered, for instance, they have claustrophobia. They remember being locked up in an underground tunnel. And that fear continues in this life. And once they were remembered under the regression therapy, they were cured. So the same thing now, this girl had better, and so she thanked Dr. Deb and she proceeded. Now this is the girl that Dr. Deb asked to come, because she could go into the, beyond this birth and go into the soul level, and she could probably help her. So she arrived at 9 a.m. the following day, and she was seated at the head of the patient, who was being ventilated now, with the brothers and sisters around and the curtain drawn, and now Dr. Deb hypnotized her. The moment she went into the hypnotic trance, this girl exclaimed, "Oh my God, she's so sad, she's depressed, she's looking like a dim light bulb." So the brothers were asking, sisters were asking questions. So this girl replied saying, at the soul level, language is not a barrier. Just think of any question you want and she will answer. So this girl stood a few minutes and then she said, your sister doesn't want to talk to anybody. She is very depressed and sad. She doesn't want to talk. So the hypnotic session ended there and she promised to come again the following day. Maybe she might be in a better mood. And so the time was fixed for 11 a.m. the following morning. Everybody went home. Next morning at 9 a.m. Dr. Deb got a call saying that this girl who was being hypnotized was having a severe headache and she would not be able to come that day. She preferred to come on the following day if she can. So everybody waited, hopefully the following day. Then an hour later, Dr. Deb got another call from the same girl saying something is urging me to come now. I want to come. And so she arrived at 12 noon that day. Again, the same procedure repeated. She was seated next to the patient being ventilated. And this time she explained, oh my God, what have you done? She looking like a bright sun. She's so happy. She wants to thank her brothers and sisters for whatever they have done. And she said, please tell my husband that he has been a wonderful man and to look after her 2 children. And she doesn't want to stay in this world. She has finished her duties and she wants to proceed. So all their questions have been answered now. So this girl was brought out of the hypnotic trance and now they came out of the intensive care unit, and while they were outside they were chatting, and this girl asked, the girl who was hypnotized asked the family, what did you all do that made such a change in your sister? So they said, we went to the abattoir yesterday and released 7 cows and calves, and we took 7 lakhs in 1,000 rupee notes and gave it to the patients at the Lady Ridgeway Children's Hospital and the General Hospital. So that good deed has helped this patient get clarity and become happier, and the soul was much more elevated now. So they were all happy, and Dr. Deb said the first time in his life somebody had allowed him to switch the ventilator off, totally happy to know that the family member was happy to proceed on to the next stage in her life. So all this happened and they came out and they were chatting, and then the family realized that this girl who was hypnotized was their family friend down the lane when they were young, but now under poor circumstances. So they gifted her house too. So all ended very well, everybody was happy. Now the point I'm trying to convey today is that this was the first-hand evidence for me that a good karma, a good deed helps the soul. They gave the soul a clarity and elevated the soul to a higher level. She could understand and she could proceed. This is what saving a cow from slaughter does. Cow is like a mother to us. When the mother's milk runs dry, we need the cow's milk to sustain and help us grow. So it's like a mother. So how dare would we kill a mother? So killing the cow is very sinful. And if there were nobody to eat the cow's meat, there won't be killing at all. So I hope all my listeners will take this to heart and spread this message. Cow slaughter is to be abhorred. Thank you for the kind listening. God bless you all. Protecting a cow from slaughter is so very important, so very beneficial to the soul, the human being. Cows have, all animals have a mind. We don't realize that. See, there have been a photograph some time ago in the newspapers about a Buddhist monk who got a cow released from slaughter, and soon afterward the cow came towards him and knelt in front of him and paid its reverence to the monk. But there was another photograph also I've seen sometime earlier about a school teacher who collected money from her students and released another cow. And this cow too did the same thing. They know what's happened, they understand, they have a feeling. And when they are in the slaughterhouse, they have fear, tension, anxiety. All this fear in their body will infect the consumers with the same feelings. So one should avoid killing cows, and if nobody eats cow meat, there won't be any killing at all. I hope this country will become a dharmic country, and all of you all will follow this suggestion and pass the message on. May God bless you. Thank you for the kind listening. Bless you all.